good afternoon, good evening. I hope everybody is doing well. How are you? Hello, chicken. Yes, I am wearing something a little bit new. I thought, you know, when we get to the next screen, you'll see why. I thought my usual kind of wear, the colors didn't go. So I have opted for this. I very quickly just snapped it out of the wardrobe and put it on. So there we go. Hopefully this is all working well. This is all good. Elbow gloves. Yes. Yes. Yes, they are. You will see as well. I have got quite the setup here, ready to do this. I am very nervous, by the way. So very nervous. So we shall see how it will go. We shall see. Hopefully the mic is all good. Hopefully everything is running smoothly. Because I am actually running this from a laptop. I had to get my laptop out to run this and all that. So, here we are. Oh, the headpad should work. I even made sure to do it. It's quite loud. Okay, let me turn that down for you. Thank you. Is that a bit better? Is that a little bit better? Oh, we need to refresh that. I did test all this, but it didn't seem to work. Ale? Ale? Why are you not working? Hmm? What's going on here? Click, 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 click. Well, it was working before I started streaming, so wherever it's not working, I'm not too sure. Try again. Nope. I apologize about that. But anyway, I will have to turn off alerts and everything when it gets to it. When we start to do the proper reading. Because we don't want to be disrupted when we're reading. How good I will be at reading is yet to be seen. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. Guy, new fit? Yes, one stream only. One stream only, a new fit. We are gonna try this out. It's gonna fit the theme very nicely. We are currently here nice and cozy in my room, but soon we will move somewhere new. And you'll, well, a little bit new. You'll see. Gotta enjoy it while it lasts. Yes. Yes. Still have to have my glasses on. Need to be able to read after all. But I do have... Actually, I'll show that when we switch screens. Maybe we can switch screens, but still chat for a little bit. Wait for a few people to get in, which means I'm gonna have to move this out the way, my lovely new keyboard, which allows me just to keep moving it about. I didn't plan this, but the laptop is so far away that even with the stretched out arm, I can't quite reach it. So this means I don't have to stretch across the lovely Necronomicon. So if we just head on over now, hopefully this is all good, all set up. There we go. Look at that. First time ever doing anything like this. So if there are some hiccups, please bear with me. But yes, hello. Hi. Hi. We have some lovely candles here as well, nice and flickering. I could probably turn them down a little bit. I can make them a little bit dimmer, but it doesn't make too much of a difference here. That's as dim as they go. But yes, we got a nice little setup. I'm gonna actually brighten them up. I need the reading light. There we go. Well, we've got a nice little setup here. We've got a nice book. We've got some nice candles. We're just gonna have a nice time. We're just gonna have a nice cozy reading session. Got some nice is it suede? Suede here. Purple, deep. Not quite my hair color. It's more a plum color suede that we have there. Has a nice little bit of backing. There we go. Once we fold out the book, it should, if I move it over here, boop, 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 boop. There we go. You should get a nice spread of the book. Logo covers it a little bit. We can shuffle it up a little bit if needs be. There we go. All planned out. All ready for a little bit of reading. So I hope you enjoy it. This is a lovely book. I do love this book. I have also written down something cute. The can we get that to focus a little bit? There we go. You can see my bad handwriting. The kind of recommended stories, and one I added myself at the end there because we had 2 recommendations. But I thought, I don't know how long we're going to take reading. I may stumble on words. There's a lot of words in this book that are unique, splendid. We are going to avoid some. As you know, this man, no, we don't actually like him. But the stories, we're going to enjoy the stories. So if I go silent a bit, you know why. And you'll probably see it on the page as well if you can read. It's quite small text. Hold on, there we go. Let's turn to that page. It's quite small text, but I thought it'd be nice because there's some good pictures in here as well. I also have a bookmark as well to go with it. And I thought I'd show you the business card as well. The person who made the bookmark, because it's quite pretty. I like it. Hold on. If I switch it around this way and get it to focus, you could probably search it up as well. Oh, focus, focus. Focus, focus. Focus, focus. Hold on. Whoop. It's not going to focus. Hopefully you can at least read that. You'll see it on the page if you can read. Dang, got that rude on it chat coming out today. Hey, I'm kind of worried that I won't be able to read some of these words. Man, we got some nice copper shine as well on this. Really do like it. I wanted to make this like a little bit extra special. Hence why extra bookmarks, got the candles and everything. Oh, don't knock it over. And then yes. I'm oh my goodness, so nervous. I'm also hopefully can turn the pages easily. That was a lot easier than I thought it would be actually. With these gloves on, there we go. So we'll be able to turn pages. Luckily this one is a short story, so we can finish this one quickly. Hence why we have other stories to get through. Hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. I don't know if I'd be able to do a proper audiobook-esque thing out of it. If I can, that would be great. If I can't, well, I'll just reread a short one in my own time and hopefully get it right. I'd at least like to be able to do it with one of the stories in here. Be able to kind of set an audiobook-esque pieces, bit of reading, bit of audio. But for now, you've got the stream with all the mess-ups, with all the mistakes with the words, with all the place names. There's going to be a lot of try to pronounce this. Even without the reading. It's just going to be try to pronounce a book. I'm like, oh no. But I wanted to do it. For a while now, I thought it was such a great idea to do this. Let's move you out the way. I'll put you over here. I even did little boxes so I could tick them off. I know I will know myself that I've read them, but I just like to be organized. I like lists. It's easier to keep track of things when you have a list. It's me constantly fixing the suede. Oh. Constantly brushing it back so it's which direction? This direction. There we go. Ah, so satisfying. What's that? Oh no. Oh no. I'm messing it up. Oh no. There we go. The book will cover it mostly anyway. But yes, I hope everybody is doing well today. We won't start reading in a moment. I'll just cross my hands over it. There we go. We won't start reading just yet. Let's have a little chat beforehand. I hope you were looking forward to this. It was redeemed and everything. The Eldritch Horror. Oh my goodness. That is 100% the Eldritch Horror. There is the Call of Cthulhu in here, but I've not read it before. And I don't know how many rude words that one has. To be fair though, the ones I did read, I can't remember how many rude words. were in it. So we've got a little bit of a problem that I might come across rude words in the one I suggested. Because I just remember the story behind it, not the full-on contents of how it was written. But it should be fun. It should be interesting. I can just go silent. Twitch, you're not gonna ban me. Ah! That bubbler! Thank you very much. It's actually not fart. I read that wrong. Fart! I missed an R. Bubbler, thank you very much for the follow. Thank you and welcome. I'm just kind of waiting a little bit. I'm just being nervous. I'm just like, ooh, just look at this cover. Bubbler, hello! Hi. Hold on. I have to wave like this. Wave at the screen. Hello. Hope you're doing it good. This is my first hand cam stream as well. And it said a rude word. I did. To be honest, it's actually not that rude, really, is it? It's just a something. It's very childish. First hand cam stream. I'm not nervous at all. Hopefully the velvet doesn't reflect anything. I think we're okay. Especially since I have the main lights off. So there's no like glare or anything. We've got a little light over there. No, over that side, which is like a ring light. And it's kind of coming in this angle. So it illuminates my face a little bit. Illuminates the book a little bit. And then we've just got some flickering candles for a little bit of ambience on the edge. And once we flip over the book, there will be no room for stage setting. But that's okay. I did want to get a few set pieces other than the candles, but they don't fit on the screen, so there's not a whole lot of point. Still got it. Yeah. Book reading time. Oh boy. Should I wait a little bit? Maybe I'm nervous. I'm a little bit nervous. Just pat Cthulhu. There we go. Pat. Good boy. Good boy. Yes, you are. Destroyer. Yep. Are you actually Cthulhu or are you something else? To be honest, I don't know. 3 spoopy, 5 me. Ah. The beast might escape if you open the book. Well, we're just gonna have to risk it. Also, the head pats work. Thank you, guy. Pat. Thank you. I'm glad they work now. Now they work. Now they work on this screen. Oh, that's the wrong way on. I do need to remind myself to turn the alerts off as well, though, once we actually do get reading, because I feel like it could be disruptive, but it does at least say in the chat, so I'll be able to see it there. So, yes. My gosh. First up, we do have Chicken's recommendation. I'm trying to remember who recommended the second one. Let's actually go back onto Discord, because that's where things had been suggested. The music, AC! Who can't make it today. But there is the VOD. So I will say right here, thank you very much, AC, for watching when you're watching the VOD. If you skip this moment, I will know now. I will know. It's okay. It's all okay. It's fine. I know we wanted to skip to the reading part. It's understandable. All right. I'm going to just open it up just to have a look at the start at least, because it's a really beautiful book. You like my copy? Thank you, Biggs. And also thank you for coming along. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you're doing well. How are you? It is a lovely book. It's lovely hardback. You can't quite hear me knocking. If I keep talking, you'll be able to hear the knocking. There we go. We've got all of this down the side as well. And then also on the back, if it wants to focus in. There was a little sticky there and I couldn't get it fully off. That's my bad. But this is my Necronomicon. I think if we open it up, it gives us a map of some streets. I haven't fully looked at this yet. There we go. Got some signage over there. Hangman's Brook. Oh my goodness, it's all the street names. Everything, single street has a name. Oh, if we turn this around, what's this over here? Department of Geology is number 1. Where's number 1? Ah, the university right here. So we have the Department of Geology at number 1. Let's move this back. Physics number 2. Medieval metaphysics, that's apparently a thing. Some psychology and literature. And then the library and the university has a spa. What university has a spa? Sorry, who are these extremely rich people going to universities with their spas? I want a spa. I want a spa day. That'd be lovely. Miskatonic at university, evidently. You can remember the name, or can you even read that? You can read that from that distance. Miskatonic University. There's going to be a lot of that, by the way. I do apologize. There's going to be a lot of me going over the same word a few times. So this isn't going to be a perfect reading, but it's just going to be a nice kind of cozy, having fun with a book. One, you remember it, is named after the river, which we absolutely can read the name of. Oh yes! Miskatonic. Lovely. Start the day with English. Take a lunch. I'll start the day with English. Take a lunch spa break. Then maths in the afternoon. That does sound lovely, doesn't it? I think if English was changed with something like physics, if I did physics and then maths, or even psychology and then maths, or something like that, that would be my perfect bit. I love psychology. I may not be the best at it, but I would enjoy it. And then the maths and physics is something I'm a little bit better at. That's something where my strength lies, is more that side, if we were in a study university setting. So I think I'd quite enjoy that. Oh, chicken would start your day with maths. Take a lunch maths break, then maths in the afternoon, then more coffee because the amount of maths to do. Anna is a master of reverse psychology. You can see the evidence by calling her cute. No. No. Not cute. Not cute. And no little nibble. You're not allowed to eat me. No. No little nibble. Not at all. It's working. No. All right, there we go. Turn a couple of pages. Ooh. Oh, the Cats of Ulthar was 1935. Oh my goodness. What was the Mountains of Madness? At the Mountains of Madness and Other Novels, 1964. That was one I quite liked when I read it. I actually have, hold on. I'm gonna go see if I can get it. This is my big book. I'm gonna be right back. No little nibble. I have something that I had before my Necronomicon, and it's this little book here. It's quite an old one, and I do love it. It's got very kind of spooky art all along it. It's very old. It's very yellowed as well. Like extremely yellowed. Actually, if we compare the pages, to be honest, that's not a good page because that's new. But yeah, you can kind of see just how yellowed it is. It's lovely. Oh, it smells like an old book as well. It smells like it's come from a house where there was a heavy smoker. But it was found in an old bookshop This this is really leaning into the horror a bit. It was found in an old bookshop, and I think this reprint, if this is anything to go by, will it focus? I don't think it's going to focus. Was in 1973, so it's quite an old book, and I'm so glad I found it. Highly recommend going into pre-owned old bookshops, like the really kind of everything is just packed high and you don't really know what's going on. It's completely disarray. I saw this sitting on a stool and I had to get it. It's an absolute wonder, and it had At the Mountains of Madness, which was one I really liked. It's so good, isn't it? Look at that. Look at that front cover. Such a good horror, like unfathomable. I think it's one of the great old ones. I think that's how they're described. Just put that over there. There we go. As old book, 1973. Okay, it may not be ancient, but it's still pretty old. It's gone through some things. All right, I think it will at least be time to turn to the page of the section we're going to be reading. So if I just go in here and get this nice and lined up for everybody. How's that? And I'll be using, if I just put this to the side, this bookmark. I'll probably be using it to help me keep track of where I'm reading. So I'll be able to go down like this and then switch. Is the plan. I'm still very nervous about doing this whole reading thing, but I hope it will be a lot of fun. And also dim this light down a little bit. I don't think it's shining on there too much now, so it should be more visible. You'll do great. Thank you, Bob. Bubbler. Thank you so much. I nearly mispronounced your name, so we're off to a great start. Also, spoilers for the previous story right there. No nerves, only cabbage. Always cabbage. Always. I'm just gonna actually take a sip quickly. I got myself some water. I need to stay hydrated if I'm gonna be reading a lot. Oh, it's been a long time since I've read out loud anything. So I didn't even do any practice reads. Everything is wrong with me. I didn't do any practice reads. I guess the other thing as well is gonna be, I really hope I don't slip up when reading. Sometimes I go on automatic when reading. I may slip up, so this is the disclaimer. I do not agree with this guy's views. That's all. He was mad. So we're here for the story of, to start with, the Cats of Ulthar. I hope everybody enjoys. Speaking of, quickly, I do just need to go and maybe I can't quite silence these alerts. Maybe I can. Give me one moment. Let's see. I may not be able to, so animated alerts will probably have to be... can I trust you not to do a party popper? If I can trust you not to do a party popper, I think we'll be okay. I trust you guys. It's more for things like follows and stuff like that, which I don't want to accidentally pop up. Oh. Chicken. This isn't an Outer Wild stream where you're trying to scare me. This is a book reading club. We're part of a book reading club now. We're gonna read together. If anybody's got their Necronomicon, feel free to follow along. But if you don't, please enjoy your reading. You could turn off desktop audio. That is the best idea I've had all day. And I had to set up this stream. Okay, I could turn all the alerts on and turn off desktop audio because we don't have any ambience in the background. I didn't prepare that far ahead. I got some candles. That's about it. I got a bookmark and some gloves. This is where we're at. May also add. Flip this over. There we go. I can probably pick from that edge and we can turn the page over quickly. Sneak, hello! Thank you for the head pats. Pat, 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 pat. Thank you! I may be a little bit, well, I may be ignoring chat for a little bit once I start reading, which I probably should do because it is half an hour into the stream and I haven't read anything yet. I feel like if I'm doing a reading stream, I should be reading. And also there are gloves, really long gloves. That's all you're gonna see. That's all you're getting. Oh, so nervous. So nervous. Extra disclaimer, please. I'm not very good at reading. Thank you very much. I will try my best. Thank you for coming along. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it is pronounced Ulthar. That's how I think it's pronounced anyway. So I'm probably going to stick with Ulthar. Alright, there we go. One more drink of the water before we start. My throat is getting very dry. You do you, just commenting. That's okay. Everybody can have their nice little chats. I'm happy with that. But I do apologize if I don't read chat immediately. I may scroll up after I've finished. This short story is pretty short. I think it's gonna go great. Okay, I'm gonna start now. I'm gonna start now. Oh. The Cats of Ulthar. It is said that in Ulthar, which lies beyond the river sky, no man may kill a cat, and this I can verily believe as I gaze upon him who sits purring before the fire. For the cat is cryptic and close to strange things in which men cannot see. He is the soul of antique, Egyptus, and bearer of tales from forgotten cities in Meroe and Ophir. He is the king of the jungle's lords and heir to the secrets of... Is that how I think you pronounce that right? Horary and sinister Africa. The Sphinx is his cousin, and he speaks her language, but he is more ancient than the Sphinx, and remembers that which she hath forgotten. In Ulthar, before even the burgesses forbade the killing of cats, is that correct? There dwelt an old cooter and his wife, who delighted to trap and slay the cats of their neighbours. Why they did this, I know not, save that many hate the voice of the cat in the night, and take it ill that cats should run stealthily around yards and gardens at twilight. Well, whatever the reason, this old man and woman took pleasure in trapping and slaying every cat which came near to their hovel. And from some of the sounds heard after dark, many villagers fancied that the manner of slaying was exceedingly peculiar. But the villagers did not discuss such things with the old man and his wife, because of the habitual expression on the withered faces of the two. And because their cottage was so small and so darkly hidden under spreading oaks at the back of a neglected yard. In truth, much as the owners of the cats hated these old folk, they feared them more, and instead of berating them as brutal assassins, merely took care that no cherished pet or mouser should stray toward the remote hovel under the dark trees. When, through some unavoidable oversight, a cat was missed, and the sounds heard after dark, the loser would lament impotently, or console himself by thanking fate that it was not one of his children who had thus vanished. The people of Ulthar were simple and knew not whence it is all cats first came. Oh, this is brutal. This is really bad. They're not good people. Wow, this is Lovecraftian horror after all. One day, a caravan of strange wanderers from the south entered the narrow cobbled streets of Ulthar. Dark wanderers they were, and unlike the other roving folk who passed through the village twice every year. In the marketplace, they told fortunes for silver. But I know the context of this word, but I think for Twitch's sake we won't say it. They bought... Where am I? Oh no, I've already lost it. Beads from the merchants. What was the land of these wanderers, none could tell. But it was seen that they were given to strange prayers, and that they had painted on the sides of their wagons strange figures with human bodies and the heads of cats, hawks, rams, and lions. And the leader of the caravan wore a headdress with 2 horns, and a curious disc betwixt the horns. There was in this singular caravan a little boy with no father or mother, but only a tiny black kitten to cherish. Blake had not been kind to him, oh no, yet he left him the small furry thing to mitigate his sorrow, and when one is very young, one can find great relief in the living antics of a black kitten. So the boy whom the dark people called Menace, foreshadowing, smiled more often than he wept as he sat playing with his graceful kitten on the steps of an oddly painted wagon. On the 3rd morning of the wanderer's stay in Ulthar, Menace could not find his kitten, and as he sobbed aloud in the marketplace, certain villagers told him of the old man and his wife, and of the sound heard in the night. And when he heard these things, his sobbing gave place to meditation, and finally to prayer. He stretched out his arms towards the sun and prayed in a tongue no villager could understand, though indeed the villagers did not try very hard to understand, since their attention was mostly taken up by the sky and the odd shapes the clouds were assuming. It was very peculiar, but as the little boy uttered his petition, there seemed to form overhead the shadowy, nebulous figures of exotic things, of hybrid creatures crowned with horns, flanked discs. Nature is full of such illusions to impress the imaginative. That night the wanderers left Ulthar, and were never seen again. And the householders were troubled when they noticed that in all the village there was not a cat to be found. For each hearth the familiar cat had from each hearth the familiar cat had vanished. Cats large and small, black, grey, striped, yellowed, and white. Old Cranon, the burgomaster, swore that the dark folk had taken the cats away in revenge for killing of Menace's kitten, and cursed the caravan and the little boy. But Nith, the lean notary, declared that the old scooter and his wife were more likely persons to suspect, for the hatred of cats was notorious and increasingly bold. Still, no one durst complain to the sinister couple, even when little Atal, the innkeeper's son, vowed that he had at twilight seen all the Cats of Ulthar in that cursed yard under the trees, pacing very slowly and solemnly in a circle around the cottage, 2 abreast, as if in performers of some unheard-of rite of beasts. The villagers did not know how much to believe from so small a boy, and though they feared that the evil pair had charmed the cats to their death, They preferred not to chide the old Gouda till they met him outside his dark and repellent yard. My goodness. Oh my goodness. What is going on here? So Ulthar went to sleep in vain anger. And when the people awakened at dawn, behold, every cat was back at his accursed hearth, accustomed hearth. Plot twist. Large and small, black, grey, striped, yellow and white, none was missing. Very sleek and fat did the cats appear, sonorous with purring content. The citizens talked with one another of the affair, and marvelled not a little. Old Cranon again insisted that it was the dark folk who had taken them, since cats did not return alive from the cottage of the ancient man and his wife. But all agreed on one thing: the refusal of all the cats to eat their portions of meat or drink their sources of milk was exceedingly curious. And for 2 whole days, the sleek, lazy cats of Ulthar would touch no food, but only doze by the fire or in the sun. It was fully a week before the villagers noticed that no lights were appearing at dusk in the windows of the cottage under the trees. Then the lean Nith remarked that no one had seen the old man or his wife since the night the cats were away. In another week, the burgomaster decided to overcome his fears and call at the strangely silent dwelling as a matter of duty, though in so doing he was careful to take with him Chang, the blacksmith, and Thu, the cutter of stone, as witnesses. And when they had broken down the frail door, they found only this: 2 cleanly picked human skeletons on the earthen floor, and a number of singular beetles crawling in the shadowy corners. There was subsequently much talk among the burgesses of Ulthar. Zath, the coroner, disputed at length with Nith, the lean notary, and Cranon and Shang and Thu were overwhelmed with questions. Even little Atzel, the innkeeper's son, was closely questioned and gave a sweetmeat as reward. They talked of the old Gouda and his wife, of the caravan of dark wanderers, of Small Menace and his black kitten, of the prayer of Menace and of the sky during that prayer, of the doings of the cats on the night the caravan left, and of what was later found in the cottage under the dark trees in the repellent yard. And in the end, the burgesses passed that remarkable law which is told of by traders in Hathak, and discussed by travellers in Near, namely that Ulthar no man may kill a cat. Short but sweet. You know what? Good ancient power usage right there. Kid went, you know what? You killed my cat. Well, I agree. No killing kittens. Yes, no killing kittens. No good. Or cats. Kittens or cats. Animals in general. For the simple pleasure of doing so. No. Not allowed. Not allowed. I like my cats, I like my dogs. We also like rabbits here. We would not harm tofu. Don't harm tofu. And yes, the fact that this boy sounded quite young, the boy that was praying. So the fact that he was able to almost calmly do that as well. He very calmly went, you know what? These people hurting cats. No. That's not going to continue. Not at all. Not allowed. So all the cats just gathered up. All the cats are gathering up to get their revenge. I have a feeling that if this story was told to a lot of the Neko VTubers in the world, I don't know. I'm not saying there would be a similar outcome, maybe. But it was nice and short and sweet. I like things like that. I wonder what the boy was praying to. Because I don't know a lot about the lore of all the creatures. Because I haven't read a lot. This is my first time actually reading in this book. So while I have read a few stories that are in here, like at the Mountain of Madness, or Mountains, plural, of Madness, as well as what was the other one? Spvwvky. I read that storyline as well. It's very good. Very good. It's definitely, ooh. I need to know what are in the sky, what could be prayed to in the sky. Because it can definitely talk to the cats as well. It's like, what was it? Third morning that could not find his cat. It was a horned figure, wasn't it? Horn-flanked discs. Horn-flanked discs. What'd that look? But that is very interesting. I do have to admit, with this kind of like level of mystery, since I have played Outer Wilds, spoilers. Or I played the main base game. I'm not confident enough to play the DLC. I do apologize. But that's kind of a feeling I get with Lovecraftian horror as well. It's similar things, like that mystery, that unknown. And quite usually it's the curiosity of the unknown as well, which I do love. Just gonna have to take a quick sip. You'll be sure to tell the bunny that. Thank you, Sneak. Get some ancient bunnies who just take all the people who are mean to their bunnies. That was lovely, short and sweet. I do love that. So let's get this pen away from the book, but I will cross off the cats. Boop, boop. There we go. Chatting and working on a community Project Zomboid server. Ooh. That Project Zomboid, I actually think it's quite a nice game. I quite enjoy Project Zomboid. I would love to be able to play it with some people. Maybe do like a collab at some point, but with Project Zomboid. I can't say it would live very long because I don't have a lot of experience with it. But I think with the coordinated group, it'll be easier. I can't say that I'm coordinated either, so that might be a problem. My coordination isn't great. If anybody's seen the Don't Starve Together, you can tell I just kind of run off. I'm like, oh, I should probably stay near these people who have never played the game before. I should be helpful. I don't think I was. What's next on the list? The music. Where exactly was that? There's the horror. Where is it? I think it's under the cats. So the name of the city. There it is. The music of Erich Zann. 58. Where is that? Okay, that's 69. And I want... Oh, that's a scary picture. Jump scared. Oh no, it keeps turning back to that page. Was it 58? What was it again? I've already forgotten. It was 58. We need to go past that scary picture. We need to go past the scary picture. And go to 58. The lurking fear, interesting. 60. 58, there we go. Ah. Just say the word. I got the game on the 10th, but I've been hosting a dedicated server since. I see. Wait, the 10th of this month? You've not had it for a long time then. I can't remember when I got it. Years ago. I think many years ago. But it is a very good game. And I do highly recommend it. I enjoy it quite a bit because it's quite it's one of the zombie ones that seems to be closer to realistic, I think. So it really is like a pure survival. 164 hours in it already! That's more than me. Oh my goodness, okay. I can't get past the first few days by myself. Like, I know the tactic is to go to the fire station and put up base there, but I'm just not good enough. At least by myself. If it was a group of people who could be stealthy, maybe. But otherwise, I'm not too sure. How many pages is this one? Yeah. How long will we be reading? The music is on 58 and then 65. Okay, it's a little bit longer. It's a little bit longer. That should be all good, Shanana. Huh. You level your sneak. You go full in on the sneak. I think, what was it? You need to start doing like rain catchers quite early on because the power or the water gets cut off and the power gets cut off quite early. So you need to have your water generation and your generators up and running. So let's grab this and try to turn the page because it doesn't stop on this page. So it's going to be a little bit of a struggle to easily read this. There we go. You found a generator day 2! The magazine to connect it. A darn month later, really? Because you need to get the magazine and you also need to get the generator, so you need both. I guess unless... Can you do it if you're more of like an engineering based class or something like that? I wonder. And that page, where does this end? Okay, it really is quite short. So that's good. Electrical 2, I think, yes. Interesting. I feel like my electronics level in real life isn't that great. I do have some, but it's not great. I think I would need a manual for everything. But I do have an electronics book, so I could probably figure it out. I can do all my digital logic, and I can look up different chips and know what logic is inside them through that, and then be able to make... What did I make physically? I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but I've definitely done a project like that. The bunny was about to end one of her streams, and a generator exploded. That run ended. Oh dear. But yeah, I don't mind hosting if any of your community is up for that. Interesting. I'll have to think on something like that. I'm still not very good at organizing stuff like that. There's so many things I want to organize still with other streamers, and I'm trying my best. at least once. Because I'm trying to get a date down, but I'm not sure it's gonna happen. Thank you for the headbats. Pat, 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 pat. Thank you. Would we like some more reading? Was my reading okay last time? I did fumble a little bit. I hope it was okay. But I am looking forward to reading some more and seeing these little stories. Some hearts. I'll take that as a good sign. Thank you. Good reading. Bubbler, thank you very much. You don't have to explain. Recently I've been modding for 12 hours a day. What are you doing? Rest. Take some rest. You need it. That's a lot of modding. I still have to self-mod. It and the gloves work fine. I'm glad everybody likes these gloves. I quite like these gloves as well. It goes very well with the aesthetic. I got velvet as well. Shiny velvetness of it. They're just about the right size for my hand. Alright, oh, I instantly see a very difficult to pronounce name. Instantly. What is that? Rue de Ocelli? Rue de Ocelli. Is that it? Is that the most complicated? Oh, it appears about 4 times that I've seen already. So if that is wrong, it is wrong. And we're going to have to deal with it. Also, because it's so early on in the book, it wants to kind of bend closed. So it's quite difficult reading on this side, but I will keep going. It's a lot of fun. So Erich Zann is how I believe that name is pronounced. Let's move this back over that side a bit. There we go. That will stop that getting up as well. Give me one singular moment. I'm just going to take a little bit more. I think spine's a bit stiff, yes. It is a little bit. It is a little bit. It's very new. And it being a hardback doesn't help. I usually go softback, but this is such a beautiful hardback, and I think it's only in hardback. A little bit stiff. Spine submissive. I will stretch. Okay. Oh. Stretch. Stretches in. Get a few stretches in. There we go. Roll those shoulders as well. There we go. That will help. Needed that one. Very crispy. Oh no, all the clickety clacks. And not the good keyboard clickety clacks. No poppy unless it's the flower. Exactly. Lovely red poppies. Sometimes find some really huge ones as well. Hey, don't fall out. I'm gonna need you later. Horse meat with 2 E's. Yeah, what are your thoughts on quantum mechanics and the wait, what is this? What is this? Quantum mechanics is interesting. Welcome, Horace. Hello. I don't know much about US news because I am not, as you can tell by my voice, from the US. So would it be ended up being used against us? Maybe. Oh, focus. There we go. Alright, I'm probably going to go and try and read this story as well now, because it's getting on a little bit. I've done a lot of random ramblings today. I think it's definitely the nerves, but I like talking about it. If I read this, I like to talk about it again. I turned desktop audio off. That you can't hear that, but I can. Hold on, I'm going to change those settings. Horace Meat. Horace, thank you very much for the follow. Thank you. That was so loud in my ears. Let's just turn my headphones down a bit. There we go. I don't even know why I still have my headphones on. But that's what we're doing. All right. Would you be all good for a little bit of reading? Hmm? Bonk! Ah! Based on a World War II vet. Ooh, British. The Germans fly over. We the British duck. Germans fly over the British duck. The Americans fly over. Everyone ducks. Of course. Okay, a few deep breaths. All right. The music of Erich Zann. I have examined maps of the city with the greatest care, yet have never again found the Rue de Ostel, or Ostelli. My apologies. Rue de Ostelli. Seri. These maps have not been modern maps alone, for I know that names change. I have, on the contrary, delved deeply into all the antiques of the place, and have personally explored every region of whatever name which could possibly answer to the street I knew as the Rue de Ostelli. But despite all I have done, it remains a humiliating fact that I cannot find the house, the street, or even the locality where, during the last months of my impoverished life as a student of metaphysics at the university, I heard the music of Erich Zann. And my memory is broken, I do not wonder. My health physically... Wait, hold on, what is going on? That my memory is broken, I do not wonder. My health physically and mental was gravely disturbed throughout the period of my residence in the Rue de Ostelli. And I recall that I took none of my few acquaintances there. That I cannot find the place again is both singular and perplexing, for it was within a half-hour's walk of the university and was distinguished by peculiarities which could hardly be forgotten by any who had been there. I have never met a person who has seen the Rue de Ostelli. The Rue de Ostelli lay across a dark river bordered by precipitous brick blear-windowed warehouses, and spanned by a ponderous bridge of dark stone. It was always shadowy along the river, as if the smoke of neighbouring factories shut out the sun perpetually. The river was also odorous with evil stenches which I had never smelled elsewhere, and which may some day help me to find it, since I should recognise them at once. Beyond the bridge were narrow cobbled streets with rails, and then came the ascent, at first gradual, but incredibly steep as the Rue de Ostelli was reached. I have never seen another street as narrow and steep as the Rue de Ostelli. It was almost a cliff, closed to all vehicles, consisting in several places of flights of steps and ending at the top of a lofty ivy wall. Its paving was irregular, sometimes stone slabs, sometimes cobblestones, and sometimes bare earth with struggling greenish-grey vegetation. The houses were tall, peaked-roofed, incredibly old, and crazily leaning backward, forward, and sideways. Occasionally, an opposite pair, both leaning forward, almost met across the street like an arch. And certainly they kept most of the light from the ground below. There are a few overhead bridges from house to house across the street. The inhabitants of that street impressed me peculiarly. At first I thought it was because they were all silent and reticent, but later decided it was because they were all very old. I do not know how I came to live on such a street, but I was not myself when I moved there. I had been living in many poor places and always evicted for want of money, until at last I came upon that tottering house in the Rue de Ostelli, kept by the paralytic Blandot. It was the third house from the top of the street, and by far the tallest of them all. My room was on the 5th story, the only inhabited room there, since the house was almost empty. On the night I arrived, I heard a strange music from the peaked garret overhead, and the next day asked old Blandot about it. He told me it was an old German viol player, a strange dumb man who signed his name as Erich Zann, and who played evenings in a cheap theatre orchestra, adding that Zane's desire to play in the night after his return from the theatre was the reason he had chosen this lofty and isolated garret room, whose single gable window was the only point on the street from which one could look over the terminating wall at the declivity panorama beyond declivity. There are a lot of interesting words in this. Lots to learn. Thereafter, I heard Zann every night, and although he kept me awake, I was haunted by the weirdness of his music. Knowing little of the art myself, I was yet certain that none of his harmonies had any relation to music I had heard before, and concluded that he was a composer of highly original genius. The longer I listened, the more I was fascinated, until after a week I resolved to make the old man's acquaintance. One night, as he was returning from his work, I intercepted Zann in the hallway and told him that I would like to know him and be with him when he played. He was a small, lean-bent person with shabby clothes, blue eyes, grotesque... What is that word? A grotesque face, something like face, a nearly bald head. And at my first words seemed both angered and frightened. My obvious friendliness, however, finally melted him, and he grudgingly motioned to me to follow him up the dark, creaking, and rickety attic stairs. His room, one of only two in the steeply pitched garret. Not garter, why do I keep thinking garter? Was on the west side, toward the high wall that formed the upper end of the street. His size was very great, and seemed the greater because of his extraordinary barrenness and neglect. Of furniture there was only a narrow iron bedstead, a dingy washstand, a small table, a large bookcase, an iron music rack, and 3 old-fashioned chairs. That sounds more furnished than where I am currently. Sheets of music were piled in disorder around the floor. The walls were of bare boards and probably never known plaster, whilst the absence of dust and cobwebs made the place seem more to behold. Hold on. I missed a page. Seemed more to deserted than inhabited. There we go. Let's just put this around on the next page. Evidently, Erich Zann's world of beauty lay in some far cosmos of the imagination. Motioning me to sit down, the dumb man closed the door. How very rude. Turned the large wooden bolt and lighted a candle to augment the one he had brought with him. He now removed his viol from its moth-eaten covering. Is it viol? Viol? And taking it, seated himself in the least uncomfortable of the chairs. He did not employ the music rack, but, offering no choice and playing from memory, enchanted me for over an hour with strains I had never heard before, strains which must have been of his own devising. To describe their exact nature is impossible for one unversed in music. They were a kind of fugue, were the current passages of the most captivating quality, but to me were notable for the absence of any of the weird notes I had overheard from my room below on other occasions. Those haunting notes I had remembered and had often hummed and whistled inaccurately to myself. So when the player at length laid down his bow, I asked if he would render some of them. As I began my request, the wrinkled... I'll pronounce that word. The wrinkled-like face lost the bored placidity it had possessed during the playing, and seemed to show the same curious mixture of anger and fright which I had noticed when I first accosted. For a moment, I was inclined to use persuasion. Roll a d20 for me. Regarding rather lightly the whims of senility, and even tried to awaken my host's weirder mood by whistling a few of the strains to which I had listened the night before. But I did not pursue this course for more than a moment. When the dumb musician recognized the whistled air, his face grew suddenly distorted with an expression wholly beyond analysis, and his long, cold, burning right hand reached out to stop my mouth and silence the crude imitation. As he did this, he further demonstrated his eccentricity by casting a startled glance towards the lone curtain window, as if fearful of some intruder. A glance doubtedly absurd, since the garret stood high and inaccessible above all the adjacent roofs, this window being the only point on the steep street. As the concierge had once told me, from which one could see over the wall at the summit. The old man's glance brought Blandot's remark to my mind, and with a certain capriciousness, I felt a wish to look out over the wide and dizzying panorama of moonlit roofs and city lights beyond the hilltop, which of all the dwellers in the Rue de Stel, only this crabbed musician could see. I moved towards the window and would have drawn aside the nondescript curtains, when, with a frightened rage even greater than before, the dumb lodger was upon me again, this time motioning with his head towards the door, as he nervously strove to drag me therewith with both hands. Thither? Drag me thither? Now, thoroughly disgusted with my host, I ordered him to release me and told him I would go at once. His clutch relaxed, and as he saw my disgust and offense, his own anger seemed to subside. He tightened his relaxing grip, for this time in a friendly manner, forcing me into a chair, then with appearance of wistfulness crossing to the littered table, where he wrote many words with a pencil in the laboured French of a foreigner. Ah, French. Wait, they're in France? That would make sense with the slight name. The note which he finally handed me was an appeal for tolerance and forgiveness. Zann said that he was old, lonely, and afflicted with strange fears and nervous disorders connected with his music and with other things. He had enjoyed my listening to his music and wished I would come again and not mind his eccentricities. But he could not play to another his weird harmonies and could not bear hearing them from another, nor could he bear having anything in his room touched by another. He had not known until our hallway conversation that I could overhear his playing in my room, and now asked me if I would arrange with Blandot to take a lower room where I could not hear him in the night. He would, he wrote, defray the difference in rent. As I sat deciphering the execrable French, be kind to people learning new languages. It's very difficult. But more lenient toward the old man, who was a victim of physical and nervous suffering, as was I, and my metaphysical studies had taught me kindness. In the silence there came a slight sound from the window. The shutter must have rattled in the night wind, and for some reason I started almost as violently as did Erich Zann. So when I had finished reading, I shook my host by the hand and departed as a friend. The next day, Blandot gave me a more expensive room on the third floor, between the apartments of an aged moneylender and the room of a respectable upholsterer. There was no one on the fourth floor. It was not long before I found that Zann's eagerness for my company was not as great as it had seemed when he was persuading me to move down from the 5th story. He did not ask me to call on him, and when I did call, he appeared uneasy and played listlessly. This was always at night. In the day he slept and would admit no one. My liking for him did not grow, though the attic room and the weird music seemed to hold an old fascination for me. I had a curious desire to look out of that window, over the wall, and down the unseen slope at the glittering roofs and spires which must lie outspread there. Once I went up to the garret during theatre hours when Zann was away, but the door was locked. What I did succeed in doing was to overhear the nocturnal playing of the dumb old man. Does dumb mean what I think it means in this sense? At first, I would tiptoe up to my old 5th floor. Then I grew bold enough to climb the last creaking staircase to the pewed garret. There, in the narrow hall, outside the bolted door with the covered keyhole, I often heard sounds which filled me with an indefinable dread. The dread of vague wonder and brooding mystery. It was not that the sounds were hideous, for they were not, but they held vibrations suggesting nothing on this globe of earth, and that is, at certain intervals, they assumed a symphonic quality which I could hardly conceive as produced by one player. Certainly Erich Zann was a genius of wild power. As the weeks passed, the playing grew wilder, whilst the old musician acquired an increasing haggardness and furtiveness. Full to behold. He now refused to admit me at any time, and shunned me whenever we met on the stairs. Then, one night, as I listened at the door, I heard the shrieking viow swell into a chaotic babble of sound. A pandemonium, which would have led me to doubt my own shaking sanity had there not come from behind that barred portal. Wait, what? Barred? Behind that barred portal? A piteous proof that the horror was real. The awful, inarticulate cry which only a mute can utter, oh no, and which raises only in moments of the most terrible fear or anguish. I knocked repeatedly at the door, but received no response. Afterward, I waited in the black hallway, shivering with cold and fear, till I heard the poor musician's feeble effort to raise from the floor by the aid of a chair. Believing him just conscious after a fainting fit, I renewed my rapping, at the same time calling out my name reassuringly. What is going on here? I also like that he's gone, oh, they probably just had a little fit, they're fine. Like, this is normal. Like, this is okay. I heard Zann stumble to the window and close both shutter and sash, then stumbled to the door which he falteringly unfastened to admit me. This time his delight at having my presence was real, for his distorted face gleamed with relief while he clutched at my coat as a child clutches at its mother's skirt. Shaking pathetically, the old man forced me into a chair whilst he sank into another, beside which his viol and a bow lay carelessly on the floor. He sat for some time inactive, nodding oddly, but having a paradoxally suggestion of intense and frightened listening. Subsequently, he seemed to be satisfied, and crossing to a chair by the table, wrote a brief note, handed it to me, and returned to the table, where he began to write rapidly and incessantly. The note implored me, in the name of mercy and for the sake of my own curiosity, to wait where I was while he prepared a full account in German of all the marvels and terrors which beset him. I waited. The dumb man's pencil flew. You don't need to be that rude. Do not say you want to be friends with someone, then call them dumb. That's not the way to go. It was perhaps an hour later, while I still waited and while the old musician's feverishly written sheets were still continued to pile up, and I saw Zann start as from the hit of a horrible shock. Unmistakably, he was looking at the curtained window and listening shudderingly. Then I half fancy I heard the sound myself. Though it was not a horrible sound, but rather an exquisitely low and infinitely distant musical note, suggesting a player in one of the neighboring houses, or in some abode beyond the lofty wall over which I had never been able to look. On Zann, the effect was terrible, for dropping his pencil, suddenly he rose, seized his viol, and commenced to rend the night with the wildest playing I'd ever heard from his bow, save when listening at the barred door. It'd be useless to describe the playing of Erich Zann on that dreadful night. It was more horrible than anything I had ever overheard, because I could now see the expression of his face, and I could realize that this time the motive was stark fear. He was trying to make a noise to ward something off or drown something out. What I could not imagine, awesome though I felt it must be. The playing grew fantastic, delirious, and hysterical, yet kept to the last the qualities of supreme genius which I knew the strange old man possessed. I recognized the air. It was a wild Hungarian dance popular in theatres, and I reflected for a moment that this was the first time I had ever heard Zann play the work of another composer. Louder and louder, wilder and wilder, mounted the shrieking and whining of that distant viol. The player was dripping with an uncanny perspiration and twisted like a monkey. I do not know what that means. Always looking frantically the curtained window. In his frenzy strains, I could almost see shadowy... I need to look up what that word means. Satyrs? Because it's got a Y in the middle of it. And bark channels. Dancing and whirling insanely, seething abysses of clouds and smoke and lightning. And then I thought I heard a shriller, steadier note that was not from the viol. A calm, deliberate, purposeful, mocking note from far away in the west. At this juncture, the shutter began to rattle in a howling night wind, which had sprung up outside as if in answer to the mad playing within. Zann's screaming viol now outdid itself, emitting sounds I had never thought of her could emit. The shutter rattled more loudly, unfastened, and commenced slamming against the window. Then the glass broke shiveringly under the persistent impacts, and the chill wind rushed in, making the candles sputter and rustle the sheets of the paper on the table where Zann had begun to write out his horrible secret. I looked at Zann and saw that he was past conscious observation. His blue eyes were bulging, glassy, and sightless, and the frantic playing had become a blind, mechanical, unrecognizable... that word that no pen could ever or even suggest. A sudden gust, stronger than the others, caught up the manuscript and bore it towards the window. I followed the flying sheets in desperation, but they were gone before I reached the demolished panes. Then I remembered my old wish to gaze from this window, the only window in the Rue d'Estel, or Seal, from which one might see the slope beyond the wall, and the city outspread beneath. It was very dark, but the city's lights always burned, and I expected to see them there amidst the rain and wind. Yet when I looked from that highest of all gable windows, looked while the candle sputtered, and the insane viol howled with the night wind, I saw no city spread below, and no friendly lights gleamed from remembered streets, but only the blackness of space, illimitable. unimagined space alive with motion and music and having no semblance of anything on earth. And as I stood there looking in terror, the wind blew out both the candles in that ancient peaked garret, leaving me in savage and impenetrable darkness with Kale and Pandemonium before me, and the demon madness of that night baying view behind me. I staggered back in the dark, without the means of striking a light, crashing against the table, overturning a chair, and finally groping my way to the place where the blackness screamed with shocking music. To save myself and Erich Zann, I could at least try, whatever the powers opposed to me. Once I thought some chill thing brushed at me, and I screamed, but my scream could not be heard above that hideous view. Suddenly, out of the blackness, the madly swaying, or soaring, bow struck me, and I knew I was close to the player. I felt a head, touched the back of Zann's chair, then found and shook his shoulder in an effort to bring him to his senses. He did not respond, and still the view shrieked on without slacking. I moved my hand to his head, whose mechanical nodding I was able to stop, and shouted in his ear that we must both flee from the unknown things of the night, but he neither answered me nor abated the frenzy of his unutterable music. All through the garret, strange currents of wind seemed to dance in the darkness and babble. When my hand touched his ear, I shuddered, though I knew not why, till I felt on the still face, the ice-cold, stiffened, unbreathing face whose glassy eyes bulged uselessly into the void. And then, by some miracle, finding the door and the large wooden bolt, I plunged wildly away from that glassy-eyed thing in the dark, and from the ghoulish howling of that accursed viol, whilst fury increased even as I plunged. Leaping, floating, flying down those endless stairs through the dark house, racing mindlessly out into the narrow, steep, and ancient street of steps and tottering houses, clattering down steps and over cobbles to the lower streets and the putrid canyon-walled river, panting across the great dark bridge to the border of the streets and boulevards we know. All these are terrible impressions that linger with me, and I recall that there was no wind, and that the moon was out, and that all the lights of the city twinkled. Despite my most careful searches and investigations, I have never since been able to find the Rue des Celliers. But I am not wholly sorry either for this or for the loss in unutterable abysses of the closely written sheets, which alone could have explained the music of Erich Zann. Oh, I'm losing my voice. Thank you very much for the head pats. Pat, pat. Thank you. Oh, and thank you for the hydrate. I'll do that again. Shaka, 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 shaka. Let's do. A little hydrate there. Gosh, I don't think I've read that much in such a long time. Maybe that's why my throat is going. But that was a longer one. Oh, I want to go back. Okay. It's always so very mysterious. There was no kind of indication of what everything was. He touched the ears and he was shocked. I know there's an illustration of what can only be described as like vampires or such like creatures. But was it a swarm of bats then? Was that the blackness? Oh, try not to interrupt. Okay, sorry, I was looking down the whole time. Said to say, Nini, Nini, and have fun. Night to the bunny. Night. Where the bunny went to bed. Finished fangirling over Final Fantasy XIV. And no voice left. Thank you very much, Chicken, by the way. I saw you were excited about Final Fantasy XIV. There was a stream going on, so thank you for coming along to mine as well. Even though it is very different from what I usually do, but I hope it's at least a little bit enjoyable. I do like reading. It's very fun. Although I haven't, like I said, I haven't read in a while. My voice was going at the end. Maybe there'll be points where I'll have to get to good stopping points. And be like, right, stop here, I'm gonna take a quick drink. And we'll continue on. Things like that. I did mess up a few words, but that's okay. It's a lot of fun. And also the fact that, did he see the glassy eyes or did he touch them? Because it was pure darkness. So he must have, like, he noticed they weren't breathing. And just, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That, no, thank you. What did you do? Did you cause that man to die? Was your curiosity the death of that man? His gloves and there's Anna, no complaints. Thank you, Sneak. I'm glad everybody's enjoying it. I'm really liking this. I like something a bit different every now and then. It took me a while to set up. I think it took me about half an hour to set everything up because I had to move everything from my usual streaming setup. But it's definitely worth it. I'm definitely liking this as a whole thing. Might have to turn the light up a bit. A little bit dark when I was trying to read. So the candle flicker may not be as strong. Final Fantasy keynotes later. It's all good. Thank you. I did see that the Pusheen was one of the sponsors. Pusheen is a sponsor for Final Fantasy. That sounds so cool. Cute and cool all in one. Love it. Love it. You're finding the hand actions inflections while you talk fun. Really? I'm glad. I like to move my hands about a bit when I'm speaking. Obviously, I'm using this to guide my reading because it definitely helps, especially the contrast, the black against the not pure white pages, but it's very nice to read. I really do like this. I feel like I should do more things like this, short story readings. I think it'll be a lot of fun, even if it's just more H.P. Lovecraft, although the wording in these books is a little bit of a challenge for me. I know I'm not the best when it comes to vocabulary, but it doesn't mean I want to learn. I do like learning and picking up new words. There's a few that I'm going to have to look up. Also, not sure if you noticed my comment from earlier. I may have missed it. I do apologize. Given the story's time, dumb likely wasn't meant as an insult. It's also used as a term to mean temporarily mute. Oh, interesting. Thank you. See, this is what I need. No apologies. All good. Thank you very much. Yes, like I said, I'm not quite sure. I think there was something back there where it talked about gay beads. I'm going to say hello. Because I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means in that context. I guess it's because it's slightly older use of language, so I'm really not familiar with it. It's interesting how much a language can change in such little time, but I do find it interesting. Sneak, you had a long chat with the Neko from Norway recently, streaming VR chat. Ooh, that sounds like fun. If I ever get VR, I'm gonna have to figure out some sort of at least simple tracking. And a difference between just talking and seeing the person while they talk. I think I would like that at some point, at least for me here in 3D. Maybe like some type of hand tracking. I think I did see... Oh, I've got something saved somewhere. I can't remember where it is though. But I've got something saved where it was hand tracking, but just through a camera, potentially. I want to see how that goes, because I've tried using this with things outside of a VC face. Is it VC face? Something like that. And it just gets very distorted. I am not used to the range of expression, so we will see if it works or not. Old English has some weird terms and weirder ways to use those terms. AC, hello! Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you're doing well. I hope I'm not disturbing your dinner date. I hope it was very nice. And that you didn't run away from your date just to watch this stream. Your date is very important. And for reference in that context, gay would have meant colourful, exciting, festive, something like that. I see. I know it can mean happy, but happy beads didn't make sense in my mind, so I didn't know quite the context for it. And he did survive. He survived. Welcome. You have missed a couple of stories, but I do have one more on my list. I don't know quite how long it is, though. So it may be potentially the last one. I don't have any more follow-up stories because I've forgotten which one it was, but someone recommended one. It just wasn't in this book. It just wasn't in the Necronomicon, unfortunately. Where's the index? Where's the index at? Acknowledgements. Very good to acknowledge people. A nice bit of art there. Very beautiful. I'd leave a date for an Anna stream. Chicken. Of course you would, mate. I love it. I could just imagine the tone as well. Brilliant. I am missing where the context page is. I'm going to have to keep flicking through. Is it after the acknowledgements? No, it's got to be before. Ooh, look at that. Oh my goodness, look at that. That is... And they're called Nightgawns. Is this... What are these? Chicken, absolutely. Got a thing. If they're on a date with me, they obviously don't have very high standards, so I'm not about that. What if you went on a date and you said, oh, there's an Anna stream, I have to go, and the person went, oh, I need to watch that too. How would that cinch the deal? Would that cinch the deal? Easy, I did survive. Can't really hear stream though, only see chat. Okay. Oh, I haven't done it. I haven't done it. Hold on. Let's go for a good page. There we go. There we go. Heart. Heart the beast. Heart. Of course I need to do this. Little heart. Hold on, which way? This side. Little heart. Big heart. Upside down hearts. What? How was? Huh. Whoop. Heart. I'm really bad at being about self-critical, so just this once I'll go out on a limb and say, you're a really nice guy, Chicken. Yeah. I used to you would totally date Chicken if you told me he watched a cabbage with hand streams. I'm a sentient cabbage. Have hands, the power of the opposable thumb. I'd be disappointed that they almost risk missing an Anna stream to be seen in public with me. But what if they timed it? Okay, this is even more important. What if they timed it? If they timed it perfectly? If they started walking out the door before you to get ready, that would be an indicator. The thumbs, the opposable thumbs. Ultimate power. Ultimate power. Be nice in the bunnies community. The active brain cell is a community asset. My brain cell is for me alone, which is quite impressive. My singular brain cell. No one can share this. I don't think you can connect up to it either. Cyberkey! Hello! Hello! Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you're doing well. How are you? Heart. Heart. Power of the opposable thumb. I can do a heart. Easy, you have to leave again. Okay. Heart. Have fun. Have fun. Heart. I should get a piece of paper like, have a good day. Cybercookie, you're doing amazing. That's really good to hear. What are you guys doing? I am enjoying the lovely reading of the Necronomicon. Not all of it, a few select stories. We are getting there. I have started to lose my voice a little bit from the last reading, so I'm going to try going back again. I'm going to try and drink water a bit more through the next one. Chat, we're going to have to try and create some sort of community. Community what? Brain cell? And his reading and the rest of us are fawning. I'm glad you enjoy my reading. I'm glad. Maybe I should do more of these kind of streams. It does take a while to set up, so there'll be few and far between. But still a possibility. And wide area network. Ah! Oh, I can't click. Oh no, it's a very dull click. A. Plug into that brain cell. I need to keep this brain cell, otherwise I'm gonna struggle. If I don't have this one brain cell, I think the whole fabric of my reality is gonna crumble around me. Yeah, that might happen. So maybe I'll just keep it. Maybe I'll keep its bandwidth. For now, we can see. If there's any developments, I'll let you know. I was ever so slightly curious about this, actually. I might read that in a little bit. Exactly, one of us would remember to slap you on charge. I'm an automatic. I can go boop, 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 and go into charge and then boop, 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 back to streaming. Oh no, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, it's not happening. It didn't happen. Why are we slapping Anna? Hard reboot. That's the bonkso. The bonkso for that. The bonkso for the hard reboot. Or are these different? Bonking. It's a little squishy bonk. It's a little squishy bonk. I could pat myself on my head with my, what is this called? A bookmark. See, I need this brain cell. I forgot a word. Boink, 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 boink. Boink, boink. If I have some fox. Oh, that looks like it hurts. Ooh. Just knocked the camera. Sorry, camera. Yes, as it turns out, one is for when I post puns in Discord, and the other is for when I say something the council disapproves of in Discord. That's what I've gathered, at least. Ah! For the disappointed stare and just the usual stare. One is very much more disappointed than the other. One is a simple stare, right? Just staring at you like, and the other one is a There's a difference. There's a and there's a Those are the differences between the two stares. Right. I do want to read this a little bit. I don't know what this is. Out of what crypt they crawl, I cannot tell. But every night I see the rubbery things. Oh, rubbery, not rubery. But every night I see the rubbery things. Black, horned and slender, with membranous wings. They come in legions on the north wind's swell, with obscene clutch that titillates and stings, snatching me off on monstrous voyagings, through grey wells hidden deep in nightmare's well. Over the jarred peaks of Thok they sweep, heedless of all the cries I try to make, and drown Oh, and down the nearby pits to that foul lake, where the puffed shoggoths splash in doubtful play, or sleep, not in play. But ho! If only they would make some sound, or wear a face where faces should be found. Naruhodona. They just kidnap you. Can't hear notifications. How to be sneaky? Don't be sneaky. You can't hear this either. You can't hear it either. I don't think, anyway. Also, thank you, Cyber Cookie, for the follow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my goodness, those emotes. Hold on, can I point to it on the corner? Where is it exactly? Can't quite see it. These ones. There was a moment last stream where those things popped up a lot. Don't be me, I have redacted luck. Ooh, either way you win, because Anna's staring at you. Wait, what's going on? Oh, the stairs. The 2 stairs. Oh, buddy. I'm just going to quickly try and find the context page. Contents pages. Here it is. What was I looking for? Oh, they're actually going to be speaking. Is there going to be little speaky? Because I cannot do multiple voices. Let's see. The dreams in the witch house. I quite enjoyed that. Cyber, you're going to lurk while I study chess. Good luck. Good luck with studying chess. I hope you do well. Hey! What? I saw that. You can't get away. I saw this. I see that. Ha! Shh, we're being sneaky. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the gift subs. Thank you for the head pats. Pat, pat, pat. Thank you. Sneaky sneak. Sneaky chicken. And I'm fanning herself with a bookmark. It doesn't give me much of a... Oh, actually, that's quite nice. Oh. Ah, it's quite good. It's not bad, actually. That's not bad. All right, where is this one? The rats and the wolves, not quite. The horror at Red Hook. Color out of space sounds interesting. It's a little bit of a longer one. The dreams in the witch house. There we go. Oh, it's quite a long one. Do I have time? Shall I do that? What page is it? 358. Somewhere around here-ish. 389. We're looking for 358. There we go. Oh, and it lies a bit flatter, although the pages come up. The pages come up a little bit. This is so pretty. This is just a business card. Again, I'm going to show this, so if you want to check them out with the lovely bookmark. Always got to support your artists, and this is the best way I could do it, is literally send you a link or a QR code. I might show it at the end as well. Let's put that over this side. There we go. Put just behind the cat. Ooh, as a mostly black player with chess, I'd suggest looking into Sicilian defense. Oh my goodness. I know nothing. Not quite nothing. I know very, very little about chess, to the point where I can't fully remember all the moves of the chess pieces. I don't know. I'm not a good chess person, apparently. How many pages is this again? When does this end? Oh, wow, that really is thick. Dekiru kana? Dekiru kana? Can I do this? If I do, it'll probably be the whole, like, last hour. Basically, black moves second, so it's a purely defensive gameplay. I see. I did not know about this. Interesting. Interesting, interesting. I will put the bookmark there, and we will go back to the contents page. Because I do wonder, what exactly do we want to read? Do we want to read a long one? Or would we prefer something shorter? Does someone have an idea of what else they would like to see be read? Be read? Because there is multiple here. Even the Call of Cthulhu is shorter. I did not notice that. I know something like the Silver Key is going to be decently long. Apparently it's not as long either. At the Mountains of Madness was a huge one, yes. How many is that? 82 pages? Thereabouts? Happy with the fingers, just happy with this. Manias. There's quite a lot, so if anybody has any idea what they would like to be read from the Necronomicon, we could do that. Or I can try to start reading. Where was it? I've already lost it. The Dreams in the Witch House, but I don't know how long I'd go with that. And I'm also not sure about the words in it, but I can just skip over that. But I do quite, I have a remembrance of what it was like, and I quite liked it. Nina, I saw turn you into a fog beacon. Your cuteness. No. No. Oh no, where's the page? Oh, there it is. Oh, nearly lost it. Oh my. We're definitely, if we do this long story, I'll definitely have to use this to slice through the pages. Slice. Start moving this over a little bit. Can I just ever so gently tilt it this way? There we go. It won't be fully flat, but it'll be closer to being in front of me if I do this. Go. Still got some flickering candles in the corner, giving a little bit of ambience. I might try to read a bit of this. If there's a good stopping point, I might stop there. I might leave it on a cliffhanger. Maybe do like read it soon and read it later kind of thing. Let me just shuffle in this chair because it is not the most comfortable either. There we go. Ah, nice. A little bit comfier. Permission to be a little soppy. If you want to be a little soppy. Oh, Chicken's like, always. Always, says Chicken. You may be a little bit soppy. A friend started playing a game. I haven't talked to them in a long time. Interesting. Feel free to be soppy. Feel free. So wiggle about this and place this in here and be like, artist, good artist. Support your artists. I will not stop doing this. I need to start printing out, if I'm going to do more of this, QR codes for like all of Vise. And then every now on stream be like, check them out. Go see it. Go follow. I moderate 50 channels on Twitch. Recently it's been 12-hour days, 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. and I'm knackered, but missed you all. It's so nice to see you again, I have to admit. I'm glad you found a little bit of time, although you may be moderating. You're probably moderating right now. So hopefully I could be a little bit calming. Hopefully a little bit of a calming voice in what may be, I don't know exactly the kind of streamers you moderate for. But a lot of streamers I realize are quite manic. In a good way. Is the thing, it's very entertaining. I like to be calm when I can. I know I get a little bit manic every now and then for me, but I do also like to be calm, and I hope these readings are calm for everybody. Thank you very much, Sneak. You do take care of yourself. 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. is a very long time. And it can also I think with that, your sleep is probably all over the place. So do take care and make sure you're hydrating and eating at least decently. At least decently. The bunny watched her Final Fantasy XIV update, then was like, yeah, I'd start at 8 p.m. our time. But she was like, food coma, so much food. Oh, I'm getting a little bit hungry. I have to eat a little bit after this stream, just before I go to bed. Not too much. You don't want to get super full before you go to bed, but I might have some cheese and crackers. I've got some nice chutney. I've got some nice mango chutney, nice crackers, bit of cheese on top, bit of cheddar, just simple. Maybe put a bit of black pepper over the top and it'll be lovely. A nice little snack before sleep, just to make sure that I'm not hungry. Because that can really disturb your sleep if you're hungry. If you try to sleep while you're hungry. Also, Bubbler, very calm. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're finding this calming. Cheesy crackers with thin cucumber is delightful. Ooh, I unfortunately don't have any cucumber, but that does sound lovely. I think another one I really like, and I have very rarely because it's very much a treat, is crackers with cream cheese and salmon. Because it is just delightful. It's delicious. Absolutely delicious. Shepherd, hello! Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you're doing well. How are you? Thank you very much for popping along. I know it is a little bit later. A little bit later? It is a little bit later for me, but I will continue for a little bit more. This is a special stream. But I know it's an odd time as well. It is a Friday. I have to keep reminding myself it's a Friday, not a Saturday. Doing good. How are you doing? I am doing very well, thank you. I'm really enjoying this stream. QR code, artist. There we go. I did my part. It's not focusing. Oh well. But I was going to get to reading The Dreams in the Witch House soon, which is one of the longer stories. So we'll see how far I can get. Hopefully I can finish it. But on the last story, my voice did start to go. So I'm going to have to be careful. I might have to stop and take drink breaks every now and then. So I hope that's okay with everybody. I hope everybody's okay with drink breaks. Grab some tortillas. Yesterday, fried and filled with cheese and some curry, butter fried tuna. What is that? That sounds amazing. You do what you need to do. Thank you, chicken. And Sneak as well at the same time. That wasn't even just a copy. That was like a straight up. You had the same thought at the same time. You know what they say. Great minds think alike. Boop, 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 boop. I could use this as a bookmark. I know there's like a little, okay, this, I noticed something that was slightly annoying with this is there's like a tiny little bit of white on the edge. So I might try to see if I can get something to cut that off, but I don't want to cut it off because I want to keep it straight. If I can find something to cut it with straight, I'll do that. But otherwise, it's just lovely. It's like its own bookmark. I bought a bookmark and I got 2 bookmarks. They're so pretty. There was plain versions of this and also thicker ones as well, but I went for the copper. I think there was gold as well, but I think the copper just works better with the sea and the stars. It's got that kind of dull shine to it. I do love it. All right, I'm just going to take a quick drink and I might start reading. Mm-hmm. Quite a lovely reading session so far. This is me starting a book club. Maybe I can, it'll be a long way in the future, a long way, because at the moment, this is actually my dining table. I had to move everything onto my dining table because my actual desk is too thin. It's too thin to set. This book doesn't fit from the point where my monitor is to the edge of the table, basically. So to get this nice setup, this proper setup, I needed to move to my dining table, which is a small fold-out one, and it takes up most of the room. So for now, reading streams are still going to be a very rare occurrence, But if in the future I can, you know, maybe get a bit more space, I might make it more regular because I'm quite enjoying this, just chatting and reading. My main two bookmarks are papyrus with the basic alphabet of Egyptian hieroglyphs. Oh, very nice. Also, Sneak, thank you for the headbats. Pat, 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 thank you. How did I rig the camera? I have like a stand that goes all the way along here. So I've got a really sturdy stand. It's super sturdy. Like that's shaking it and it's not moving that much at all and it's staying in place. And then I had to I've got my laptop in front of me. I have a gaming laptop because I think I mentioned before, but the computer is shared. So I got myself a gaming laptop so I could still play and potentially stream, even if that computer is in use. So through a gaming laptop here, I've got a camera over here. The laptop comes with a camera, so it's good for things like this. That's why it's good. And yeah, it's going like along there. Wave and figure chat. Naughty chat. And then yeah, it's going along here. I've got my microphone whoop, over there in front of my mouth. And I've even got a ring light just off over there. So the light's coming from this direction. So I can read the book. We've got candles. I've got a wireless keyboard over there so I could bring it over, put it on my lap and do some shortcut keys. Got a mouse to the side as well and all my notes. I even have a controller for the candles so we can just turn them off and turn them back on. They're actually giving quite a bit of light. They're very nice. Yeah, it's quite the setup. Advanced setup. I really tried to make this decent. Decent. But yes, I want to keep improving setups like these. Unfortunately, like with the space, out like this, boop, boop, boop. It's a lot to set up every time. It took me about half an hour to fully set things up because after I do this, I'm gonna have to move this all back. So that might be another like 20 minutes. I'm gonna be back shortly. Got my headphones so I can still enjoy the voice, but putting the mini-me to bed. So AFK. Okay, chicken. Be sure to pay attention to your little me as well. Your mini-me. I won't start reading for a little bit then. I'll wait a little bit. We'll keep chatting. Yes, this is quite a nice setup, and I was just actually thinking, with this setup, I took inspiration from Tofu, and she did block building stream. Those block building things look really nice. Unfortunately, the ones I was looking at had already sold out, but there are other really nice ones that I could do. So maybe one day I could set this up and do like a really long block building stream. Hope they settle in soon. Sure, it's okay. Shush. Shush. Then yes, I think a block building stream would be fun here. I would probably do that without the gloves though. I don't think I could do that with the gloves. So I might have to take inspiration for Tofu in another way and do my nails as well, because at the moment they're not that great. At the moment they are not done. They have suffered from me doing my nails before. So you don't want to see those nails, but you can see my lovely gloved arms and hands. Ooh, velvet. Right. I know you have the headphones on, chicken, so I might start going ahead with doing a little bit more reading, which I hope everybody is enjoying. This may take up an hour for this last little bit. We shall see. It's a long story. And if I can't read words, I will keep trying. Be nice. Had to trim the ladies. You had to trim the ladies' feet downstairs. Oh my goodness. My goodness. All right. I think I might want to start reading a little bit more. Hopefully, everybody is enjoying this. I'm definitely enjoying reading. I think I've said that a lot. I think I've asked a lot and said that a lot. Can you tell I'm anxious? Can you tell I'm a little bit nervous? I'm just glad it's on the kind of set middle bit of the book because the pages are lying flat. It makes it so much easier to follow. Sure, I did hairdressing as a kid. She thinks that also applies to. Oh no! Oh no! Oh. Hands moving themselves. Well, time to go to another horror with more from the Necronomicon. This is one I think I remember that I liked. It's only a memory, so we shall see. The Dreams in the Witch House. Whether the dreams brought on the fever, or the fever brought on the dreams, Walter Gilman did not know. Behind everything crocheted. Oh gosh, it goes across the two words. I struggle with that. And everything crocheted. The brooding, festering horror of the ancient town, and of the mouldy, unhallowed garret gable, where he wrote and studied and wrestled with figures and formulae. I might start again. I apologize. Hold on. Wow. All right, let's do this. Let's try this again. I need a little bit of lip as well. My lips are getting a little bit dry. Okay. Let's see if we can read this again. Whether the dreams brought on the fever or the fever brought on the dreams, Walter Gilman did not know. Behind everything crocheted the brooding, festering horror of the ancient town and of mouldy, unhallowed garret gable, where he wrote and studied and wrestled with figures and formula, when he was not tossing on the meager, I think it says iron bed. His ears were growing sensitive to wow. His ears were growing sensitive to a preternatural, an intolerable degree. And he had long ago stopped the cheap mantel clock, whose ticking had come to seem like a thunder of artillery. At night, the subtle stirring of the black city outside, the sinister scurrying of rats in the wormy partitions, and the creaking of hidden timbers in the sentried house were enough to give him a sense of strident pandemonium. The darkness always teemed with unexplained sound, and yet he sometimes shook with fear lest the noises he heard should subside and allow him to hear certain other fainter noises, which he suspected were lurking behind them. He was in the changeless, legend-haunted city of Arkham, with its clustering gambrel roofs that sway and sag over attics where witches hid from the king's men in the dark, olden days of the province. Nor was any spot in that city more steeped in macabre memory than the gambly room which harboured him, for it was this house and this room which had likewise harboured old Kezian Masson, whose flight from Salem Gaol at the last no one was ever able to explain. That was in 1692. The Gowler had gone mad and babbled of a small, white-fanged furry thing which scuttled out of Kazir's cell, and not even Cotton Mather could explain the curves and angles smeared on the grey stone walls with some red, stickly fluid. Possibly Gilman ought not to have studied so hard. Non-Euclidean calculus and quantum physics are enough to stretch any brain. And when one mixes them with folklore and tries to trace a strange background of multi-dimensional reality behind the ghoulish hints of the gothic tales and the wild whispers of the chimney corner, one can hardly expect to be wholly free from mental tension. Gilman came from Havenhill, but it was only after he had entered college in Arkham that he had begun to connect his mathematics with the fantastic legends of elder magic. Something in the air of the horror town worked obscurely on his imagination. The professors at Miskatonic had urged him to slacken up, and had voluntarily cut down his course at several points. Moreover, they had stopped him from consulting the dubious old books on forbidden secrets that were kept under lock and key in a vault at the university library. But all these precautions came late in the day, so that Gilman had some terrible hints from the dreaded Necronomicon for Abdul Alhazred, the fragmentary Book of Eben, and the suppressed unaspiration Holton. John of von Junst to correlate with his abstract formula the properties of space and the linkage of dimensions known and unknown. Euclidean. He knew his room was in the old witch house. That, indeed, was why he had taken it. There was much in the Essex country records about Kezia Marston's trial, and what she had admitted under pressure to the court of Orr and Terminer had fascinated Gilman beyond all reason. She had told Judge Harthorne of lines and curves that could be made to point out directions leading through the walls of space to other spaces beyond, and implied that such lines and curves were frequently used at certain midnight meetings in the dark valley of the White Stone beyond Meadow Hill, and on the unpeopled islands in the river. She had spoken also of the black man of her oath, and of her new secret name of Nahab. Then she had drawn those devices on the walls of her cell and vanished. Gilman believed strange things about Kezia. Is it Kezia? Kezia? Euclidlan. Euclidlan. Thank you. Kezia. And had felt a queer thrill on learning that her dwelling was still standing after more than 235 years. When he heard the hushed Arkham wisdoms about Kezian's persistent presence in the old house and the narrow streets, about the irregular human tooth marks left on certain sleepers in that and other houses, about the childish cries heard near May Eve and Hallowmass, and the stench often noted in the old house attic just after those dreaded seasons, and about the small fairy-shaped tooth thing which hunted the mouldering structure and the town and nuzzled people curiously in the black hours before dawn, he resolved to live in the place at any cost. Capital I. Ian. Euclid Ian. Don't mind me for now. A room was easy to secure. The house was unpopular, hard to rent, and long given over to cheap lodgings. Gilman could not have told what he expected to find there, but he knew he wanted to be in the building where some circumstance had more or less suddenly given mediocre alderman of the 17th century, an insight into mathematical depths perhaps beyond the utmost modern delvings of Planck, Heisenberg, Einstein, and De Sitter. Ooh, names. All the names. He studied the timber and plaster walls for traces of cryptic designs at every accessible spot where the paper had peeled, and within a week managed to get the eastern attic room where Kezia was held to have practiced her spells. He had been vacant from the first, for no one had ever been willing to stay there long. The British landlord had grown wary about when renting it. Yet nothing whatever happened to Gilman till about the time of the fever. No ghostly Kezia flitted through the somber halls and chambers. No small fairy thing crept into his dismal eyrie to nuzzle him, and no record of the witch's incantations rewarded his constant search. Sometimes he would take walks through shadowy tangles of unpaved, musty, smelly lanes, where eldritch brown horses of unknown age leaned and tottered and leered mockingly through narrow, small-paned windows. Horses, it says houses. Yes, those old horses. I might have to give up, actually. I think it's getting late and I can't read. My mind is going foggy. But if I do this again, would you like to hear this one? Because I think it would be a good one. I might have to get a lot of readings. No, do tell us more of the spooky horse. I think 2 hours of reading. Yeah, see, of course. Bye-bye. You've done a lovely job. I'll definitely be around for another whenever you'd be up for it. Definitely. I would like to revisit this. I would like to try this again. Maybe when I haven't done a couple of short stories. This is kind of like one good bit of reading to do, I think. Because with all the chatting and everything, I think it's a nice stream to do. I do very much enjoy it. It is quite thick. How many pages is it? 58 to 86, so it's not hugely long. But for a Lovecraftian story, it is a little bit longer. More gloves maybe in the future. I do have to say that thanks to getting to this goal, I was able to get these gloves, get the backdrop, get the candles as well. There we go. They're quite bright. If I bring them in closer, there we go. We can move this down a little bit, bring them in. There we go. Just turn them down a little bit. Just there we go. Are these turning down? Turn down! And that's as slow as they go. But yes. You won a housing plot! Well done! Well done. The ongoing joke is our legs. Oh my goodness. GG, those are expensive. They're really nice, aren't they? They have a nice flicker effect. You can have like a static effect as well. Hold on, just light. But that's so bright. Look at that. There's no atmosphere. A little bit of flickering. Yes, I definitely made the goal so I could do the stream. And thanks everybody for meeting it. 3.5 meters. Thank you everybody for meeting the goal for this stream. I was very shocked when it happened, actually. I remember Kaiko coming in, doing a raid. And then suddenly it was like, ooh, there's a bit goal. Here you go, have a hype train. I was like, oh gosh, no, hold up. So I'll definitely do more. I won't do a goal to do it again because that just doesn't make sense. I've got all the equipment now. It's all good. Glad I had a nap earlier. I woke up in time for this. Thank you very much for coming along. Thank you very much. But yes, I will definitely do more of this in the future, but like I said, it'll be very few and far between, and it will probably be on the Fridays every now and then. So, well, I do usually like to leave Fridays open for collabs. I'll probably leave it open for hand cam streams potentially as well. Just because these take a little bit longer to set up. And all of that good stuff. And also I can just kind of stay up a little bit and chat and not have to worry about packing up and then running off to work, things like that. So it makes it very nice and convenient to do it on Fridays. I do also want to mention, me not, fishing for everything. There is another bit goal. There's a little bit goal. Wait, how do it is? It's down there. There's a little bit goal. So hopefully I'll be able to do like a karaoke again at some point. So I made it a goal to get the karaoke up. So that will be live now. Thank you very much for the head patch chicken. Pat, 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 pat. Thank you. But yeah, that big goal's going to be live now. Ah, chicken. Oh my goodness. Thank you. The 100 bits. Is that out 25% now? We're a quarter of the way there. Oh my goodness. Thank you. But yes, it will be a karaoke stream if we reach that goal. So it will be kind of similar to this. So we'll get to the goal and then I'll try to find the best time to set it up. Again, it will probably be a Friday, same time roughly as this, so that I can keep doing my usual streams so that nobody really misses out, I guess. Because if people like my chill streams on a Thursday, they can see that still. If they like my space streams on a Sunday, they can see that. And then this is just a little bit extra. Just as like a massive thank you to everybody. I will read more Necronomicon. It has been very fun. And my voice did go at one point, but I will push through it. I will drink all the water and keep my voice hydrated. You spend the last 6 months getting used to getting up at 5 a.m. Bunny has family visiting, so she's starting at 8 p.m. and ending at 2. The body clock is a mess. No! Also, she's starting at 8 p.m. and ending at 2 a.m. Our time, correct? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 6 hours. That's still I find that very impressive. My longest streams are usually like 5 at most. And that's still a slightly rare occasion. Yes. Ah, EST, Eastern Standard. Okay. Interesting. Oh, that is something, isn't it, actually? Speaking of Eastern Standard. I don't think it's Eastern Standard Time, Standard Time. Speaking of American time zones, I guess. Just gonna move, let's move this back a little bit. Let's move these to the side. There we go. Let's just move you back a bit so that I have room. There we go, to put my keyboard up. It's been very useful. Good little keyboard. But what I wanted to do was just see who is streaming. Oh my goodness, so many people are streaming Eurotrack. I knew that Tofu was going to be joining them. I knew she said she wasn't going to be streaming. Who do we raid? We have Dom, we have Fubuki, we have Kaiko, and we have Biggs. All 4 of them are streaming. Oh my goodness. I did want to quickly go say hi to them. So it's gonna... Who do I have to choose now. I have to choose. I feel like maybe Biggs. Oh, it's intended for mature audiences. Okay. We shall try and raid Biggs. By the sounds of it, thanks for the stream, you lovely, lovely cabbage. Take care and rest well, everybody. You too, Sneak. You too. He's gonna come with you? No. But I'm gonna do a little raid now. I'm gonna... This this has been a lovely stream. This has been a great stream. I've really enjoyed it. It's so different, but I absolutely loved it. And I loved doing a whole hand cam for the first time. It's amazing. Also, thank you for the headbutt sneak. Pat, 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 and thank you. Thank you very much for bobbing along. Have a good rest if you can get some time to rest. I'll sneak in as an immature audience. No one will suspect. Same super chill, no game. Just book and hands. Yeah. Just book and hands. It was a delightful stream and I hope you enjoy yourself. Rest well and have a lovely weekend ahead. Same to everybody else. Have a lovely, lovely rest. I need to see about doing raid. Type touching with this is difficult. Raid. Go forward, get the full name, just so that I don't mess this up. Drop copy. Put this here, there we go. The raid has been created, perfect. Perfect. They are doing a bit of Eurotrack with everybody. So I hope you have fun with that, watching that. I want to see how it goes. I'm very curious. Because they are all driving around at the same time. I wonder if there's been any crashes yet. If I was playing, there would be. I don't know how to drive. I just don't know. So that's what we've got. All right. Thank you, everybody, for popping along. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I hope you have a good sleep, a good eat, a good hydrate. And I'll see you Sunday for a bit more chill No Man's Sky. We're going to chill a little bit in space this weekend. So until then, have fun. Bye-bye. Please don't forget also, cabbage raid. Cabbage raid. With fire, if we can use the fire. Oh, where are my modes? There they are. Like this, as we go into the raid. Again, thank you very much, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye. Hold on, how do I do it? Hi.